Hello again, everybody. Well, as you may have heard, I've actually got an intro song now. I made it, and it's pretty terrible, but it exists. And, well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit pleased with it. But I'd like to welcome you all back to the Joe Rogains Podcast, proudly sponsored by my scuffed worldviews. Now, I'd like to point out something that, in my mind at least, is a bit of an elephant in the room. This started as a joke because I was bored, and now I seem to be taking it somewhat seriously, which isn't... I don't know how I feel about that, but you know what? We're just going to keep going with this because some people listen to it. I know that there are people listening to this, which is actually really sweet in a way. But it has occurred to me, like something along the lines of, oh, blimey, I've got a podcast. Right. Well, I suppose I should probably bring on some guests at some point, but that would involve having friends. Well, that brings me back to my first point in that I have a podcast. So I know everybody's dying to hear my terrible, scuffed, cancelable worldviews, but I'd like to talk about something that happened not 20 minutes ago. See, through the course of the week, I've been making an EP. Again, something that I'm not really taking seriously. I'm just sort of messing around with music production software, seeing what works, you know, just throwing spaghetti at the wall, that sort of thing. And, well, I made one track that I'm going to play a little bit of for you now.
Bang to that tune, bang to that tune, bang to that tune, bang to that tune, bang to that tune. A gang bang, one might say.
And so, as you can hear, it's pretty powerful stuff. So you can probably understand the whole concept behind a track like this. I mean, I'm hanging out with my friend, he says something funny, I say, oh, hey, could you repeat that into this microphone for me, please? Bish, bash, bosh, and there we have it. Funny sex joke on a track, put it on the internet, think nothing more of it, right? Now, I'm currently teetering somewhere between excitement and nervous because, well, I just looked at the YouTube analytics page and it seems as if we've got 123 views. Now, that's happened in 40 minutes. I'm not going to say it's going viral, and I'm probably kind of outside of my right to be excited about this. However, that's a lot faster than I was expecting it to increase the view count. I mean, most of my other videos only get 1 or 2 views in that span of time. So, basically I'm nervous because, well, it's a song that I made with my name attached to it. That is literally just a loop of my friend saying, bang to that tune, I am a sex god, over and over again on loop. You could probably understand the predicament I'm in, I'm sure. Having said that, I'm not deleting it. I'm absolutely not deleting it. It's staying up. It's going to be funny for as long as I can stand to embarrass myself with it. And there we go. That is the story behind Bang to That Tune. Speaking of tracks, I want to talk about something a little bit different. The standard of driving in Bournemouth is atrocious. Now, I've lived in other places, so I've seen how people in other places drive, and it ain't this, Chief. So here's my point, because it's itching at the back of my brain and I will never be able to get the opportunity to get it out unless I do it right now, so I'm going to do that. My flatmate and I went to test out some cameras. It's for his grad project. He's got to do the documentation, so yeah, let's go to the park and take some test shots. So we did that. It was lovely. And it was a beautiful day today. Now, this is important. The weather was absolutely sublime. So I just decided to go the sort of longer way home because I thought, oh well, I'd love to take a look at this and just sort of, you know, just enjoy being outside and being amongst the good weather. And well, I'm going down the high street in Charminster and there's a bus like kind of wedged, and I make a joke to Stephen. I say, look, it's the Ever Given, you know, because it was just wedged at like a 45-degree angle. All the way across the road. And as I approach it, I'm slowing down. I'm just driving my little Fiesta. I'm like, oh yes, I'm going along. And I approach it and I can't really explain what I saw. Look, no, I still can't explain it. I genuinely cannot explain this. And Stephen will say the same thing. There was a woman stuck to the front of a bus. She was just stuck to the front of a bus. And so I stop. And then she just, like, lets go of the front of the bus. Like, she is stuck to the front of a bus. I know I've said stuck to the front of a bus, like, 5 times, but she was stuck to the front of a bus. And so she lets go of the bus, and then she starts hammering on the door, and then just runs onto the bus, and the bus just takes off. So, yeah. that happened. And then later on this evening, we were doing another test shot outside my flat, and all of a sudden this smart car comes barreling down the hill, stops, like slams on the brakes in front of us, and we're like, oh god, no, she's going to shout at us for doing something with the cameras. No, just like starts like doing this Austin Powers spec, like 58 million point turn. Bear in mind, I got the whole thing on video, because on this massive, expensive, like television grade, movie camera, and then when she's reversing, the reverse lights don't come on, which is also really weird. And then she just starts driving on the pavement and then just drives off up the hill. Genuinely bizarre. But you live here for long enough and you just get used to it. Like, it's not even weird to me anymore. Stuff like that could, like, a piano could fall out of the sky in front of me on the road and I'd just be like, fine. And there's one last thing before I go, and that is a message for my youngest, most vulnerable male members of my audience. And that is that I, Joe Rogains, now have a 5-step program to become a professional misogynist.